talk to me a little bit about I think it was maybe your third book, Open Services Innovation, and you talk about avoiding commodity traps, and you talk about Amazon and GE being great examples. Can you give us a little window into that?
Absolutely. As I mentioned to you before, I used to be in industry myself. For about 10 years, I worked in the hard disk drive industry for a company called Quantum. And Quantum fell into the commodity trap. What happened to us is we were innovating hard disk drives, starting at 10 megabytes and then ultimately to dozens and dozens of gigabytes. And our sales went from about 40 million when I joined the company to $7 billion at our peak. So the sales did great, but our margins got smaller and smaller and smaller over time. And even though we were innovating just as hard in expanding capacity, increasing performance as we had in the past, the market was no longer rewarding us the same way it used to. And this is where you get a commodity trap, where you cannot differentiate enough for customers to continue to reward you. And this is where the idea of the book Open Services Innovation comes to play. If you focus only on hardware, only on product, you're subject to a commoditization trap yourself. For many companies, it might be competition from China. Today the world's manufacturing workshop, and the wages being paid in China aren't so high. And it's really hard for you to differentiate enough to earn a premium against that kind of competition. The way out of the commodity trap, you still have to keep innovating, you still have to work on your costs, but that's not going to get you out of the trap. What gets you out of the trap is paying more attention to your customers, what they do with your products, and how you can help your customers do that better, more effectively, more cheaply, by doing more of it with them and for them. So you're adding services to the products you used to sell. So GE is a wonderful example of this. They make these huge aircraft engines that sell for tens of millions of dollars each. And these engines are going to have a useful life of 30 years before they're finally retired. Most of the profit in those engines is earned not at the time of sale, but over that 30-year service life of the engine. So what GE has done is they still will sell you the engine for tens of millions of dollars if you want to pay it up front. But they now offer you a second choice that they call power by the hour. So you can essentially rent power from an aircraft engine per hour, which means you only pay when you're using the engine. And from GE's standpoint, all of the servicing that engine is going to need becomes part of the contract for power by the hour. So GE makes more money, but the customer's getting a good deal too, because instead of putting all your cash up front, GE is carrying that asset on its balance sheet, and you basically pay only for what you use, rather than having to pay for the whole thing at the beginning.